talking of which, very quick comment, if you can, on Keir Starmer backing the Attorney General over his comments on
Well, I think for once,
Nazism.
I have to give credit to Kemi Badenoch. She wrote a piece in the Telegraph today where she described the Labour Party believing in the rule of lawyers, not the rule of law. And I think that's absolutely
phrase, wasn't it?
spot on.
Yeah.
And Starmer, of course, a lawyer himself, is obsessed with law. His old friend and donor, a man who's given a lot of money, don't forget, to the party.
That compromises his position?
Yeah, I mean, in my view, that would be in many setups deemed as corrupt. But then don't forget the unions pay the Labour Party millions anyway.
Yeah.
But Hermer is... First of all, most of his clients were enemies of this country. He spent most of his time...
Islands,
yes,
yeah.
and he was also... he spent most of his time defending people against the UK. And he seems to me to be fundamentally anti-British and completely obsessed with international law rather than actually any interests of the British people. Hermer should go for those appalling remarks. It wasn't just one remark. He didn't mention this Nazi thing once, the Schmidt thing once. It was 4 times in his speech. It was the central part of his speech. So when he just tries to dismiss it, I'm sorry, it's not a good enough apology. There is absolutely no doubt that this man is a danger to this country and probably really an enemy of this country by the way he behaves.
So he should go, and Starmer should get rid of him.
He should go immediately. Well, of course, Starmer should go, but we can't do anything about that at the moment. We'll have to wait for the election. But, I mean, Hermer is a really disgraceful man, and even socialist lawyers feel he is behaving dreadfully. And he's not a politician. He shouldn't be in politics. He's out of his depth. He's not operating in an area he really understands.
Do you believe his apology? Do you think he would have apologised if he hadn't been lent on?
No, I don't believe it for 1 minute. I don't think he cares. And he feels he's above everything because he floats around. He's not accountable in the House of Commons, of course. He does occasionally appear in the Lords, but he doesn't like it. And so he has a very easy time of it.
OK. Thank you very much, Piers Pottinger.
Pleasure.
Strong words indeed there. Let me know what you think at gbnews.com/your-say. The Attorney General says his comments comparing calls to leave the ECHR to the rise of Nazism in 1930 were clumsy. There have been calls for Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer to sack Lord Hermer, who is a very good friend of his, by the way, including from the leader of the opposition, Kemi Badenoch, who says Hermer believes in the rule of lawyers, not the rule of law. Joining me now is opinion and features editor at City AM, Alice Denby. Alice,
Hi.
Good to see you. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, he has apologised. A, do you think he should have apologised? And B, do you think he's still being his job?
I mean, I think these comments were very politically naive, and I think he's admitted that. But I don't think it should surprise anyone that a lawyer believes in the rule of law. He thinks clearly that that if you subscribe to the rule of international law, then that's the most important thing. I think in politics, though, people understand that they want the state to be able to do things, and that they do feel that the ECHR is an impediment to us being able to deport foreign criminals, and that they're very frustrated with this. I think the point is that his job as the Attorney General is to give legal advice to the government, and the point of international law is to stop tyranny by stopping governments doing things that they want to do. I think if we want to leave the ECHR, then that should be a matter for Parliament and not for the international courts.
Do you think his position is compromised, being a very close friend of Keir Starmer's, obviously a fellow lawyer, and also a donor to the Labour Party? I mean, do you think Starmer has forced him to apologise? Do you think he would have done it off his own back?
I mean, it's quite strange, isn't it, that he gave this big speech. He obviously planned what he was going to say, and he obviously put in this Nazi reference. I mean, if you're referencing the Nazis, you're losing the argument, right?
Absolutely.
So I do find it a bit surprising. And as you say, he is a very close friend of Keir Starmer. I think really his political difficulty is that people think that Keir Starmer shares his attitude, right? That Keir Starmer is a lawyer and that he cares about following the rules and subscribing to the rule of law above all else, above actually sort of having a government that's able to do the things it wants to do. And I suppose his position is more a problem of people think that he shares Keir Starmer's mindset.
This is the problem, isn't it? And obviously we have also got the by-election coming up in Scotland very soon. And obviously we've got Reform snapping at the heels of Labour, as we have seen. So these comments, they could be worse timed for Keir Starmer, could they? Yeah,
it's very embarrassing. What else can you say? I think, going around calling people with very legitimate concerns about illegal immigration, about our ability to deport foreign criminals, and about, frankly, the overreach of a foreign court. Comparing those people to Nazis, I think, is very politically tone deaf. But again, as I say, that shouldn't surprise you, because this guy isn't a politician. He's a career lawyer. He cares about the international rule of law. That's a very good point, actually. But as you said earlier on, Alice, which is a great point, once you start accusing people of being Nazis, it's like the race card, isn't it? Then you've lost the row because it seems to become a debate. But do you think we sling these words around way too easily now and they lose their meaning? I'm sort of like, accusing people of being racist, accusing people or linking people or comparing people to Nazis. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think this is clearly a problem of social media, of the sort of 24-hour news cycle, saying this on GBNews, sorry. But yeah, of course, it's way too easy. And I think it takes away from the very serious, the seriousness of this accusation, right? I think, look, we're at a point of inflection when it comes to the post-war order, and I think that's why people always go to the Nazi accusation, because it was the last time in history where there was kind of moral clarity, and that's why I think that accusation gets lobbied about a lot. But clearly, there's nothing Nazi or tyrannical about being concerned about a court to which we only signed up to in 1950. It's not Magna Carta, right? It's a court that was established in the wake of the war for very good reasons, but it's massively changed in the intervening period. It has a very different mandate now, and calling people with legitimate concerns about this, whether that is the Conservatives or Reform, calling them Nazis, I think is reductive. I think it's not morally serious, and I think it's offensive. OK, brilliant. Thank you very much for that. That's Alice Denby, opinion and features editor at City AM. Thank you very much, Alice. OK, well, let me know what you think, gbnews.com/your say. But a spokesman for the Attorney General, Lord Hermer, told GB News the Attorney General gave a speech defending international law which underpins our security, protects against threats from aggressive states like Russia, and helps tackle organised immigration crime. He rejects the characterisation of his speech by the Conservatives. He acknowledges, though, that his choices of words was clumsy and regrets having used this reference. Let me know, as I say, what you think, as always, on that story and everything else.